I'll never forget that flight from Chicago to Los Angeles last summer. My wife was cradling our 3-month-old twins, finally asleep after hours of fussing, while I guarded the empty airplane bassinet like it was a treasure. Then this woman in a bright red blazer stormed down the aisle, pointed directly at it, and declared, "That's mine. Your children need to move." My heart froze. How could she possibly think she could claim a bassinet designed for infants? We'd reserved those bulkhead seats months ahead, specifically because the airline guaranteed a bassinet for babies under 10 kilos. The confirmation even had it in bold, "Bassinet reserved." We boarded early, got the twins settled, clipped the bassinet to the wall, and let out a collective sigh. For hours of possible sleep stretched before us. Then she appeared. She introduced herself as Mrs. Langford. From the second she spoke, everyone knew she was that passenger. Perfect hair, designer handbag, a voice sharp enough to slice through steel. She stopped at our row, glancing at the bassinet gently swaying with our twin inside, and announced loud enough for half the cabin to hear. "There's been a mistake. I specifically requested this bassinet. I need it for medical reasons." Medical reasons? She looked perfectly healthy, mid-40s, no baby, traveling alone. My stomach churned. My wife tightened her hold on our other twin. The baby in the bassinet stirred at the raised voice. I forced myself to stay calm. "Ma'am, I'm sorry, but this bassinet is reserved for our infants. It's airline policy. Only babies use bassinets." She didn't flinch. That tight, practiced smile appeared. "I know the policy," she said, "but it can be adjusted for verified needs. I have a letter from my doctor." She pulled an envelope from her bag, like she'd been waiting for this exact moment. My wife whispered, "What is happening?" People started turning their heads. Tension crackled through the cabin. Sweat formed on my neck. Could we really lose the one thing that might let us survive the flight with twins? Mrs. Langford waved the envelope at the nearest flight attendant. "Excuse me, could you handle this? This family is in my assigned bassinet." My jaw nearly dropped. Her assigned bassinet? The attendant, Maria, approached with calm professionalism. But even she seemed surprised by the sight of 2 actual babies versus one woman holding official-looking paperwork. "Ma'am, may I see your boarding pass and a letter?" Maria asked politely. Mrs. Langford handed them over triumphantly. Maria scanned the documents, then glanced at our boarding passes confirming infant and bassinet reservations. The entire row seemed to hold its breath. My wife's grip on our son turned white-knuckled. I thought, if we lose this bassinet, we're doomed. For hours of juggling crying twins in tiny airplane seats. Then Maria's words froze us. Handing the envelope back, she said with the politest smile imaginable, "Ma'am, this letter mentions a neck condition and recommends extra legroom. It doesn't qualify you for an infant bassinet. Airline policy is clear. Bassinets are only for infants under 10 kilograms traveling with their parents." Mrs. Langford's face matched the red of her blazer. She snatched the letter back. "That's ridiculous. I paid for premium economy and requested a bulkhead seat with a bassinet attachment. I need that space to stretch my legs, or I'll be in agony." She wasn't even pretending it was for a baby anymore. My wife shifted our daughter to her other arm, trying to keep both twins calm, but the noise was rising. I leaned forward. "We have 2 infants here. They weigh less than 8 kilos each. This is literally made for them." She ignored me and turned back to Maria. "I want to speak to the purser now." Maria stayed calm. "I am the lead attendant. My decision stands unless the captain overrides it." That should have ended it. But Mrs. Langford pulled out her phone and began recording. "Everyone needs to see how this airline treats paying customers with medical needs," she announced. Passengers groaned. Someone behind us muttered, "Lady, there are actual babies right there." She filmed anyway. Close-ups of the bassinet, my wife's tired face, the twins starting to fuss. My blood boiled. I blocked the lens. "Stop recording my family." She jerked the phone away. "Don't touch my property." The cabin crackled with tension. Both babies were now fully awake, crying in stereo. Maria tried again. "Ma'am, please take your seat so we can finish boarding." Mrs. Langford crossed her arms. I'm not moving until this is resolved. I have every right to that space. Then she did the unthinkable. She reached for the bassinet, while our son was still inside. My wife gasped, snatched him just in time, and the bassinet swung empty. Mrs. Langford actually tried to sit on the folded-down tray it attaches to, like she was staking her claim. The entire cabin went silent, save for our twins wailing. Maria's voice cut through, sharp and authoritative. Ma'am, you are now interfering with safety equipment. Return to your seat immediately, or I will involve the captain and, if necessary, ground security. Mrs. Langford laughed. A full, deliberate laugh. Go ahead. I fly this route every month. I know the regional manager personally. I thought that was her trump card, but Maria didn't flinch. She pressed the intercom and said clearly, Captain, we have a passenger refusing crew instructions in row 1, requesting your presence. Less than 30 seconds later, the cockpit door opened. The captain emerged, tall and imposing, uniform crisp, expression serious. The entire plane straightened. Mrs. Langford's smirk faltered. The captain listened as Maria gave a concise summary, glanced at us with 2 crying infants, then fixed his gaze on Mrs. Langford, still half-perched on the bassinet mount. Calmly, he said, Ma'am, you have 10 seconds to return to your assigned seat, or you will be removed. We do not delay an entire flight for one passenger when infant safety is at stake. She paused, calculating. Stand her ground and get escorted off or retreat. Her face twisted like biting something bitter. Finally, she rose. But just as I thought it was over, she leaned close to my wife and whispered something I couldn't hear. My wife went pale. Tears welled instantly. Mrs. Langford grabbed her bag and started back down the aisle, but not before announcing to the first 10 rows, This isn't over. I'll be filing a formal complaint, and I expect compensation. The captain nodded once, returned to the cockpit, and the door closed. Maria reattached the bassinet in seconds, helped us settle the twins, and even brought warm bottles from first class to calm them. My wife trembled. I asked what Mrs. Langford had whispered. With a haunted expression, she said, She told me, You'll regret making a scene. I know exactly who you are. How could she know us? We'd never met her. As the plane climbed, I kept glancing back, expecting her to reappear. About 20 minutes in, the seatbelt sign turned off, and I saw her standing, speaking to another flight attendant, pointing at us. My pulse raced. Maria intercepted them midway. I strained to hear over the engines. All I caught was, Check the manifest again. It's right there. Maria returned alone, apologetic. Sir, she claims a system mix-up. She says she's entitled to the bulkhead via priority code. My wife's eyes widened. Priority code? We have infants. The twins fuss again. I demanded, Proof? Maria whispered. She says she's married to the airline's VP of operations. That hit like a punch. No wonder she was bold. But why fight over a bassinet? Another attendant returned with a tablet, scrolling furiously. Mrs. Langford hovered, arms crossed, smirking. Then the attendant's face changed. She showed Maria the screen, and Maria chuckled under her breath. What the hell? Maria marched over. Ma'am, your husband is indeed Mr. Langford, VP of Customer Experience. But he personally approved family bassinet allocations today. For infants only. No exceptions, even for VIPs, after last month's PR disaster. Mrs. Langford went ghost white. The smirk vanished. Passengers whispered and discreetly filmed. She stammered, That can't be right. Let me see. Maria turned the tablet. There it was. An email from our .langford@airline.com. Prioritize families with infants in all bulkhead bassinets. No overrides without direct sign-off. But Mrs. Langford wasn't finished. She dialed furiously on speaker. Richard, it's me. They're denying me the bassinet I reserved. A voice crackled back, tired. Evelyn, what are you doing? You said you were driving to L.A. for the spa weekend. The cabin went dead silent. She froze. The voice continued. Evelyn, we're separated. Pending divorce. You are not to use my name for perks. Lawyers explicitly said, "No more impersonating family." Gasps rippled. My wife's mouth hung open. Vindication mixed with pity. Mrs. Langford had forged the doctor's letter, hacked the reservation account, and tried one last power play before the divorce finalized. The captain returned, "Radioed security, on standby." "Ma'am, you've admitted misrepresenting your status. That's fraud. We're diverting to Denver for removal." She broke down, tears streaming, begging on the phone. "Richard, please." He sighed. "It's over. Let it go." Click. Airline staff escorted her off in Denver, bag in hand, head down. We were upgraded to first class as a courtesy from the VP himself. The twins slept like angels. As we landed in L.A., the real twist hit me. Her medical need wasn't a neck condition. It was a shattered ego, desperate to feel control one last time. We didn't press charges, but passenger videos went viral. Over 10 million views. Karma doesn't need a bassinet. It reserves its own seat. If you enjoyed this story, hit subscribe. Every subscription motivates me to bring more dramatic HOA stories. Tap the bell icon so you never miss a new upload. I'll see you in the next story, where justice gets even sweeter.